Hello, this is Rico, the Strat Wrestler, with another lesson about using the metronome and working up speed and accuracy and playing smooth. I'm going to turn off the metronome, which you hear in the back room there, or background there. I'm also trying to alter the way that I talk. I've noticed that I'm not very smooth. I've been studying some videos by a YouTube personality named Ramsey Dewey, and he has a very captivating, smooth, low voice that I'm trying to emulate a little bit. Maybe I will enunciate my words better and speak a little clearer. Obviously, I'm not him. I don't have his voice. But I do tend to get a little nasally and higher pitched, especially if I'm talking about something that I'm really excited about teaching. And so I'm going to be going over using the metronome with a strumming pattern in one chord that's part of a tune overall. And by the end of this video, I will be playing the tune at a faster speed, and maybe you'll recognize what it's from. I'm not going to play the whole thing. This shirt may give you a little hint. So I'm starting again at 60 beats per minute on my little Seiko metronome here. And it's a high-pitched beat. Sounds like that. And I put it down here on the floor because I found that otherwise it was way too loud in my video. Painfully loud. Hopefully it's not like that now. So I'm just fingering a style of E7 chord that I like to use. I'm actually, a full chord would be something like this. You've got your E shape, and then you add the 7th here at the 3rd fret of your B string. That's a lot of fingers and a lot of pressure. And I like this sound better. Just sounds cleaner to me. It sounds more like what I hear on the recording of what I'm trying to emulate here anyway. And 60 beats a minute is painfully slow for this rhythm pattern. But that's where I'm going to start and try to get it smooth there first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Now that would be rather boring if that was the whole thing. I'm just trying to get this locked in at a very slow speed. I'm going to add a 2nd chord in. I'm going to go to the A7 after I play the E7 a few times. Now I'm not going to spend the whole video working up my speed. That's at 60 beats a minute. So I'm going to speed this up. Turn the tempo off here a second. I think the right beats per minute I need for this is up close to 100 beats per minute. I'm going to try 102 and see what that feels like. That would be my goal. I start at 60 and maybe get it smooth a few times through in a row, and then keep upping the beat, adding 4 or 6 beats per minute until I get up to my target beat. Let's see what this feels like. 102. That feels about right to me. And then what I'm going to do is someplace in the middle of this, I'm going to switch to just playing all the parts for this tune, and maybe you'll recognize it. The tune to be not named to avoid the attention of the copyright police. 4. I'm going to put the metronome back on the floor. I have a feeling that was way too loud. So I'm going to do that again, and then I'm going to go right into the other parts of the tune. I got off. 3, 4. That's actually a little slow, I think, but you get the idea. You may have recognized that as a version of Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I could still work on getting that a little smoother. But that's the idea. You start at a slow rate. Let me turn off my metronome here. And slowly work it up and play with that set-in-stone beat and learn how to groove with it. You can groove with a perfect beat, with a metronome, with a drum machine, and still make it feel like you're breathing and like there's some groove and humanity in there. Believe it or not, you can. A lot of tracks you hear were done with click tracks, where drummers locked in. Good drummers can lock into a click track and never get off. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it does exist in a lot of the music that you're hearing these days. So, again, to recap, this was practicing with a metronome, a rhythm part, switching between chords. Slowly increase the speed and work on it being smooth and natural for you, so you don't have to think about it anymore. I'm going to add a little tidbit in here. This is a teaser for an upcoming video I will do for the absolute beginners that are still learning how to switch chords and having trouble moving from chord to chord. It'd be something like this. I saw a question from somebody today that was having trouble playing their D chord. Now look at the way that I play my D chord and how my fingers are angled. And of course I'm just playing the top or bottom, depending on your perspective, 4 strings. And they were having trouble because they kept flattening their fingers out, and they were holding them kind of straight like this, like they were trying to play it like this, but they ended up and their finger got flat and it was uncomfortable and it hurt. Well, sometimes you have to adjust your angle. Now, that's how a D chord should look. Somebody was trying to. I can barely talk now. Somebody was trying to tell them to do it like this, with the first finger on the E string and the second finger on the G string, and I don't understand that. This more of a triangle is what I'm used to playing and showing people. But notice how I'm not straight on, I'm not straight up and down. I've got a slight angle, like my fingers are pointing slightly up the neck here. Sometimes that's important when trying to figure out the correct positioning of your fingers for a chord. But switching between chords, let's say we were going to switch between this G, this D to a G, to a G, for beginning guitar players, sometimes that's a big reach. So what I tell them to do is to play really slow and think of them as the feet of ballerinas coming off the floor and coming up in a coordinated movement and all landing at the same time. So kind of like this. You play your chord and we do it really slow. I know that doesn't sound great, but you're moving. See how I'm doing that? I'm moving my fingers really slow, getting them all over where they go. See if I can position them before I even put them down, and then put them all down. Make sure you've got it right and ring. And now do the same thing. Bring your fingers off, position them where they're supposed to go in position, and put them all down together. So there's your little beginner's hint there about switching chords and how to pronounce that. So, until next time, this is Rico the Strat Wrestler. Now go make some music with your guitar.